how to serve the SDG goals in the private sector. I should mention that within the humanitarian sector, um, private the private sector plays a more and more important role. In fact, we've seen in humanitarian financing that the private sector is actually reliably funding humanitarian operations more and more, and the trend is that financing has only been increasing from the private sector more so than government financing for humanitarian operations. So I think at this point in time, it's all a kind of a crossover. I think that there's private, but that there's social enterprises, there's private companies that function for different reasons. There's nonprofits that have that have sort of a private arm that fund the nonprofit, and vice versa. There's corporate, there's big companies that have foundations, and so it's really a space now that we find ourselves in where there is a lot of gray area, not so black and white. So, I think that working in the humanitarian space, certainly we're all working towards the same goals, the SDG goals, and I think that every organization is playing some sort of a role. I don't discount organizations just because they're private. And so, for example, we see Coca-Cola, DHL, Hewlett Packard, and Microsoft, many organizations, the many companies, I should say, that are from the private sector, playing a huge role in both humanitarian work and development, and trying to realize the SDG goals. So that's where I see the private sector.